Arms. Dyer County Jail, could y'all bring Joseph Edward Arms around? Your microphone is off. Dyer County Regional Jail, your microphone is off. There you go. Can you bring around Joseph Edward Arms?
Yes, sir. I'll call him, let him know.
Thank you very much. We seem to have two locations in the Dyer County Regional Jail here.
They're ready for you in court. They're calling for Joseph Arms. Yes.
Commonwealth versus Joseph Edward Arms.
Judge, they're getting Joseph Arms.
Yes.
I've got like 5 other.
I can't hear you now.
I said I've got like 5 other ones up here in line.
Okay.
And is that be all right to tell you who they are?
Well, just call one of them up and we'll accommodate you. And the other camera, we've got 2 Dyer Regional Jail cameras on. Is that correct?
That's correct. The other 2 guys is at the Class D still.
Okay. Okay, I understand.
You got Brian Hawkins is first.
Okay, let's call Brian Hawkins in. Commonwealth Kentucky versus Brian Hawkins, 19 CR 0037. Are you Brian Hawkins?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hawkins, were you born in 1969?
Yes, sir.
What are the last 4 digits of your social security number?
8056.
Now, you're represented by Brad Sheffield, is that correct?
Yes,
But are you there? Will you wave so he can see you? Okay.
Hey, Mr. Hawkins.
yes, sir.
Okay. This is a motion to revoke pretrial diversion. What does the Commonwealth have to say?
Your Honor, he is on a 3-year sentence, possession of a controlled substance. The second motion to revoke we filed. He was terminated from drug court on June 11th of this year. At that point in time, I guess because of the COVID, the court didn't revoke his pretrial diversion. He was ordered to treatment in July. He was at the rehab because he got in an argument with his wife. Then he finally went to the Moorhead Treatment Center on 8/31. We had a hearing at one point in time, and he wasn't revoked because he couldn't get along with his roommate. And then he was finally discharged on 11/16/20 because of violence toward another participant. And this is the 4th time he's tried to complete rehab on a 3-year sentence, and it has been unsuccessful each time.
Oh, sir. That's
Hey, you don't need to say anything yet, sir. You'll be called on. You'll have an opportunity to talk when I put you under oath, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Now, what is...
I take it he doesn't want to stipulate.
Okay, but what does the defense counsel have to say about it?
Well, Your Honor, I think we just need to have a hearing on this one. Let Mr. Hawkins explain what he disagrees with on the Commonwealth's case.
Okay, Mr. Stockton, do you have witnesses?
I do. Jeremy Garner, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Garner, you raise your right hand, please. Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, state your name and with whom you're employed.
It's Officer Jeremy Garner with Department of Corrections, Division of Probation and Parole.
Okay.
Mr. Garner, did you begin supervising Mr. Hawkins after he was terminated from drug court?
Yes, sir.
And when did that begin, roughly?
Roughly, it was about the same time that he was discharged. June 10th, when he was discharged from drug court, I pretty much took immediate ownership of his case.
Okay, and what was your first steps that you tried to do for Mr. Hawkins?
I tried to link him up with the SSC, but there was already an order or something going on where he was given a Moorhead treatment facility, and I tried to coordinate with them to get him admitted to that. And then when the day he was supposed to arrive, I got a phone call from the administrator there at the facility saying that they will not take him because he was violent, yelling in the parking lot, ripping the door off the hinges, trying to scream at his wife and all that, and they wouldn't going to accept him in that violent state.
Was that on July the 31st of this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What
And
happened after that?
Okay. So
Or did you have something else you wanted to add on that incident, or did I cut you?
well, on that incident, that same day, I had him come back to the office that same day. That same day, I lodged him in a Dyer County Regional Jail on the judge's orders to facilitate him to another facility if possible, since he didn't technically get his treatment.
Okay.
And then 8/31, the bed came available again for the same treatment facility in Moorhead. And we arranged for a different method of travel to get him there. We tried to get the jail to transport him there.
Okay.
And then they accepted him.
And so he stayed in, he started on 11/16, or no, I'm sorry, he started 8/31.
Yes, sir.
And how long did he stay in Moorhead?
I was notified on 11/16 that he was discharged for violating a rule involving violence towards another participant. According to the discharge summary, Mr. Hawkins was discharged from the program for displaying threatening and intimidating behavior during a conflict with another participant in the program.
Okay. Okay, and since that time, where's he been?
Let's see. I believe that we lodged him right after that. We got him to report to the Dyer County Columbia office where I had lodged him on failure to complete that treatment program.
Okay. I have nothing else from this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Sheffield, would you like to inquire?
No, I've got no questions for Mr. Garner.
And Your Honor, before I close my case in chief, I would like the court to take judicial notice of violations and termination from drug court that was filed with the court on June 11th, 2020. And this has already been part of a previous hearing where it states in the paragraph that he was placed on 4/24/20 in a long-term rehab at the Healing Place in Campbellsville, Kentucky. And on 6/1, he was released for arguing with his roommate. That was subject to the hearing. So if I misspoke and said Mr. Hawkins had attempted rehab 4 times, it was 3 times and hadn't completed.
Okay, Mr. Sheffield, can Mr. Garner, do you have other things on the docket here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well then I won't release you. Mr. Sheffield, would you like to call a witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Call Mr. Hawkins.
Mr. Hawkins, you raise your right hand, please. Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Sheffield, you may put your hand down. Mr. Sheffield, you may inquire.
State your name.
Brian Hawkins.
And Mr. Hawkins, before we get into the rehab, what's happened in your life and your family over the last 12 months?
In the last 12 months, November 19th of last year, I lost my oldest brother. January 16th, I lost my mother. July 29th of this year, I lost my son due to this disease. And
when you say this disease, that can mean different things in this day and time. What do you mean?
that's drugs and alcohol, sir.
Okay.
And I would just like to say, even the short period of time that I was in the rehab, they did talk about that you don't necessarily have to have 6 months of sobriety to have sobriety. It's just a matter of having a spiritual experience.
Your Honor, this is not responsive to the questions or the violations.
So I guess,
Crazy.
well, let me ask you this. You've spent time at some rehabs over the last 12 to 18 months. Let's start with what you have learned so far.
Well, let's talk about the violations right now, and then I'll give him an opportunity to make a general statement about where he is in his life and that sort of thing. But see,
Okay.
You asked him, Mr.
Yes,
Shepherd.
sir. Yes, sir. I've made a mistake, and yes, I'm not saying that. I'm not denying that of the violations.
Okay. Now, Mr. Shepherd, you can ask him another question if you'd like.
Okay. So you don't deny the argument in the parking lot that resulted in them not taking you the first time back during the summer?
Well, that was the day after my son passed away.
Okay. And then what led up to you being terminated from the program in November?
The lady told me that I wasn't allowed to grieve over my son or my mother. And I just couldn't take it anymore. And I know
Right.
that it's my fault. And yes, that was my fault. And yes, I caused myself to get discharged.
Well, if the court were to give you another chance, why would it be different this time?
Why would it be different? Because I really need a program that's going to help me in my life, to understand better things that I need to understand. I'm not very educated. When I was in Moorhead, I did get a little bit more educated myself, as far as book smart and being able to read and write and things like that. That's one of the benefits that I had when I was there. I got a better education. So, I mean, that would be another reason why I would like to, possibly have the court, maybe consider me going back to another rehab.
Okay. Answer any questions the Commonwealth has for you.
No questions.
Okay. Would you like to make a statement, Mr. Stockton?
Your Honor, I would ask that Mr. Hawkins be revoked. He has a 3-year sentence. He's been in the system on this quite some time. He's had 3 opportunities at rehab. I don't know that he's got so much of a drug problem as he's got a problem with anger and not being able to get along with people, because it seems all of his problems emanate either from not being able to get along with a roommate, fussing with his wife, violence toward other participants. I'm not convinced he's got a drug problem, but I do know he can't get along with people. And I would just ask that he go be revoked, and he's going to get out in no time, and maybe he'll get on with his life. I feel bad for him with the tragedy he's had in his life, but we all have tragedies, and we all have to be held accountable for our actions.
And Mr. Shepherd, what do you have?
Well, Your Honor, I would just like the court to consider giving Mr. Hawkins a second chance. And I'm not saying that anger management might not be something that would be something that probation and parole might not want to consider if he were to be released back out.
Mr. Shepherd, the plea was to possession? Were there any other associated felony charges?
No, Your Honor.
Well, Mr. Shepherd, don't you think if I revoked him and that he'd be out in no time? What is it, 10% of 3 years? Is that what it is?
Well, Your Honor,
15, he's already parole eligible.
He would be parole eligible once it's classified.
Yeah, it appears to me that that's the most immediate thing that he could do is to get himself parole eligible. And then when his parole officer is, undoubtedly will get him in some treatment. Mr. Garner, when y'all get parolees to have these problems, programs for them, don't they? And that way, maybe he could get moved out of the Adair County Jail or some other institution or paroled pretty quickly. And the parole supervision is a different level of supervision than probation, in my opinion, under the circumstances now. And I think he's acknowledged his problems. But I think my personal belief is that the best thing to do is to revoke his pretrial diversion. And I will say this, that if that's the only charge there is, that after a period of time, he can get that expunged under the law. So, I mean, that might be the best way. So Mr. Hawkins, I appreciate the way you conducted yourself. My condolences to you on the losses that you had. And I'm going to revoke you. And we'll have to have a pre-sentence investigation report about probation and parole. And the next rule day is on January the 28th. January 28th. And I'm not saying on that particular day that I might not probate you. I don't know, Mr. Stockton, you know, the amount of time that he has in and that sort of thing. You will have to take a look at that. I mean, but we could very well let the parole board do it. I think, Mr. Sheffield, you'll have to discuss that. It might very well be in his best interest to be paroled. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Stockton, rather than probated?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Hawkins.
Thank you.
Who's the next one y'all have available?
Joseph Arms.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Wayne County after this case right here. Okay.
Okay.
Commonwealth, Kentucky versus Joseph Edward Arms, 20 CR 0068. Are you Joseph Edward Arms?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're born in 1976. The last four, what are the last four digits of your social security number?
8144.
Okay, this is a motion to reduce bond brought on by defendant. Mr. Sheffield, do you have a witness to call?
Your Honor, it's my case.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Cross. Yeah, I see you on here. You have witnesses?
Well, Your Honor, we would call Mr. Arms.
Okay, Mr. Arms, you want to raise your right hand? Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
State your name for the
Go ahead.
record.
Mr. Cross, go ahead.
Mr. Arms, state your name.
Joseph Arms.
Mr. Arms, you've had some folks trying to help you make a property bond in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell the court who's willing to put up a bond and how much it is?
My mom and dad.
And is that on their home there in Cumberland County?
Yes.
What's their names?
Edward Arms and Carolyn Arms
Where do they live, sir?
on Dust Creek in Cumberland County.
And if you are released, you'd be on home incarceration. Do you have employment at a sawmill you're supposed to be able to do?
Well, I think I can get my job back, yeah.
Is that with Matt York or is that at the,
Matt York, yeah.
okay. All right. What did you do up there before and how long were you with him?
I worked there about a year.
Okay. Were you working until you got in trouble here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mr. York, have your people exhausted all other sources as far as getting a bond made?
What's that now?
Have they been able to find anybody else that would go in to make this $50,000 bond?
No.
Okay. And Mr.
This,
Arms,
what is it, a property bond, Mr. Cross?
50,000 property, Your Honor. and
Okay, okay, okay. I
And
just
they
want
can
to
do
ask that.
28. Yes. Mr. Arms, as far as criminal record, do you have any prior felonies?
Any what now?
Felonies?
I got one.
How many years ago was that, sir?
I think 6, I think.
Okay. And have you stayed out of trouble since all this come up until this?
Yeah, I don't ever get in trouble.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, that's all I have, Mr. Arms. Now, that's the only witness I would call.
Mr. Stockton, would you like to inquire, Mr. Arms?
Just a couple questions.
Well, wait just a second, Mr. Arms,
Yes, sir.
Questions of you will be limited to this bond. Okay? Don't blurt out an answer because your attorney might very well object to one of these questions. And if he does, that'll give you time to react and not to answer. You understand that? Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
Mr. Arms, what's the value of the property that's going to be posted for your bond?
I'm a thinking it's 28,000.
Okay, is that property paid for?
Yes,
No liens against it as far as you're aware?
not as far as I'm aware of.
Okay, now you had a felony case in 14, didn't you, in Cumberland County for receiving stolen property?
Yes, sir.
And it was pretrial diverted?
Yes, sir.
And I guess you ultimately had that case expunged, didn't you? Or not expunged, but dismissed, diverted. You completed the probation on it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have nothing else, Your Honor.
No redirect, Your Honor.
What's the Commonwealth's position here?
Well, Your Honor, he does have in the recent past another receiving stolen property case. It was pretrial diverted and he completed his probationary diversion period. This case is a criminal syndicate. It's got a B felony and a bunch of, let's see. He's got 1 B felony, 15 C felonies, and 15 D felonies. I think the bond's appropriate. If you do reduce the bond to $28,000, I'd ask that he be required to wear an ankle monitor and go nowhere but work and church and the doctor like you normally do. I don't want him out at all other than work, really.
Where is Mr. Arms going to live if he gets out?
Are you going to live with Lisa, Mr. Arms?
Yes, sir.
Well, who is Lisa and where does Lisa live? So
I don't know where she lives, Mr. Arms. Tell the court her full name and where she lives.
Lisa Dyer, and she lives on Guthrie Chapel Ridge.
She has no criminal record, does she?
No, sir.
is that your girlfriend? Is that-
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
She's the one that hired me, Your Honor. I'll say that.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let his mother and father put up the bond, a property bond, and I want an ankle bracelet on him. And as the Commonwealth said, he's to go to church, to the doctor, or work. Okay. If he wants to go see his attorney, he can do it by Skype or phone call or whatever. If you have the need to see him personally, Mr. Cross, you can contact the Commonwealth attorney.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Your Honor.
based on the seriousness of this case, I have one other request. I'd
Okay.
ask the order be entered him waiving his Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure during the he's out on bond.
I think that's reasonable.
Yes.
I think that's reasonable. So include that in the bond condition. Okay. Now, yes,
What amount do you want on the property bond?
28, Megan, is what they said they could make.
Judge, you want 28 or?
well, if I put 28,000 on there, they have to come up with 56.
Well, no, it's
$50 worth of
25
property.
now, and so they have to come up with 50. So I guess we do it 14.
Well, you go ahead and just set it there, Mr. Cross.
Well, I'm just, you converted it last
Go
time.
ahead. Mr. Cross says it ought to be 14. So,
Thank you.
you know, what I'm going to do is set it at 25 and allow the house to cover it.
Okay. Thank you.
25 and the house to cover it. And you don't want to get your parents to lose their home. And, you know, so you need to not let us down on this thing. You understand what I'm saying?
It ain't nothing like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
All right.
We'll be working on it. Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be back at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Wayne County now. Who do we have in Wayne County?
Rondal Roberts.
Okay, I'll get to him that way to free y'all up.
In my picture instead of the mute button.
hard time finding. Wait a second.
He's on a separate docket, Judge.
Yeah.
Separate docket for each jail.
Yeah, I was trying to look for that docket though. I folded it. Oh, I laid it over here. Thought I'd folded it in with that one. Commonwealth versus Rondal K. Roberts, 16 CR 0051. Are you Rondal K. Roberts?
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
Okay, this is a motion for shock probation. And are you handling this, Mr. Shuffett?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, proceed.
Your Honor, this is obviously a motion that Samantha filed. I think the primary gist of it is that Mr. Roberts has already served some significant time and he's experiencing some serious medical conditions. My understanding is he just got released out of the hospital within the last few days, had some internal bleeding with blood showing up in his urine and colon. And I understand the Commonwealth has inquired about medical records, and we are certainly going to be obtaining those if that's what the court or the Commonwealth requires. But I guess I'd like to call Mr. Roberts to give some more detail.
Well, before we call him, Mr. Stockton, would you like to hear this testimony, or do you want to agree to hold it in abeyance to get the medical records, and maybe we can do an agreed order on it?
Your Honor, I cannot do an agreed order without medical records. I could go into
Well, I understand that.
as to why, but I will not agree unless I see some compelling reason.
That's what I'm saying. The records are either there or they aren't there.
That's correct.
So if you want your client to testify briefly, Mr. Shuffett, I don't want him to go into the detail of his maladies. The medical records will speak for themselves, okay?
Well, okay, that'd be fine. Mr.
Yeah.
Roberts.
Raise your right hand, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
Lower your hand down there. Okay, you may inquire, Mr. Shuffett.
State your name.
Ronald K. Roberts.
Okay, and what are the primary medical issues that you've been suffering from recently?
I've got COPD. I was released from the Wayne County Hospital the day before yesterday. I got a bleeding coming through my kidneys and bowels, and I got COPD bad. I can't breathe at all. So, and I was wanting to say something else. I want to apologize to Mr. Williams and Mr. Stockton for what I told them I'd keep my word on last time. I promise you, I'll do anything y'all ask me to do on the outside. I've got a job to go to here in town, running a loader. If I can get out, I'm not quit. As soon as I go out, they told me to just come on up there. I was ready to go to work, and but I will do anything, any drug test, anything y'all ask me to do in any way. I've got a little closer to the Bible back here, and I found out telling people jokes and lies and stuff. It ain't no. I just don't want. I want to do it right this time, and I promise every one of you I'm going to do it right this time. I won't never have to cause you no more problems on everything I love. I mean, I'm done with it. I'm very sick right now, and
Mr. You have any other questions, Mr. Shuffett?
So you've been seen by the Wayne County Hospital recently?
Yes.
Any other medical providers recently?
Yes.
Who would that be?
I didn't understand you really, sir.
Are any other medical providers other than Wayne County Hospital?
Yes, the nurse here in the jail. I've been to Somerset Hospital. I was admitted at Somerset Hospital too. I was had to go up there over my lungs.
Okay, thank you.
I've been in the hospital 3 times or 4 times.
And it's Pulaski County and Wayne County, right?
Do what, sir?
Pulaski County and Wayne County, right?
Yeah, Somerset and Wayne County, yeah.
Okay.
I was took by ambulance last time in Somerset.
Okay, Mr. Stockton, you have questions?
I don't have any questions at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Sheffield?
No further questions. We'll be seeking those records and we'll disclose those to the Commonwealth once we get them.
Okay. You have anything else to say, Mr. Stockton?
No, I think Mr. Roberts is brutally honest. I think his claim about getting a job, it kind of is contradictory with his health status, but I'll wait till I see the records till I reserve judgment.
Yeah, I think that's a little rough too. What's the sentence?
He's got a 12.5-year sentence, Your Honor. He's probably got a year and a half or 2 years in on it. He served about 13 or 14 months while I was waiting on a motion to suppress. He entered a plea before trial, and then he was in Wayne County Drug Court. I don't know how many sanctions he had up there for if he served any time or not, but he's got quite a bit of time in on this.
Okay, well, y'all take a look at his medical records and we'll get back to you, Mr. Roberts. Okay. Is anybody else in the Wayne County Jail or can they be released?
That's the only one I had, Judge.
Okay, well, thank you all for your cooperation. Merry Christmas to you.
You too.
Yeah. Is the Barron County Jail on now? Okay. Now, Dyer County, who do you want to bring on next there?
I'm gonna bring in Michael Frogge.
Okay. What was the last name?
Frogge.
Michael Frogge, okay. Commonwealth versus Michael Frogge, 19 CR 0008. Are you Michael Frogge?
Yes, sir.
And were you born in 1967?
Yes, sir.
Last 4 digits, social security number are what?
7154.
Okay, this is a motion for shock probation. Mr. Sheffield, you want to present this?
Yes, Your Honor. It's my understanding that the defendant was revoked last month by this court, and this was filed a little bit prematurely, I think, with the consent of the court, because his 30th day actually doesn't come up until Saturday. He served a total of 99 days, and he's not parole eligible until February of next year. We were hoping to get Mr. Frogge released out on home incarceration or some form of release once he's eligible.
What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
Well, I recall Mr. Frogge's testimony. I'm trying to from last month. Seemed like he had some kind of business or something he worked at. I can't recall.
Yes,
If you do shock him, Your Honor, I'm not greatly opposed. It's a possession case, but the problem Mr. Frogge has got is he had 7 positive meth tests between February 2020 and May 8th. In 3 months, he had 7 positive meth tests. That's the reason he was terminated from drug court. If he is released, he's going to have some kind of intensive treatment, whether it's out on the street or somewhere. We just can't turn him loose without some kind of help.
Well, he's not eligible for me to do anything for a few days anyway. What date, Mr. Sheffield, did you say the date of eligibility?
I believe he's not eligible until Saturday. So, I mean, it'd be next week.
Well, do you think you could get one of your clinicians to see what kind of treatment program they could get him into?
Well,
You think residential treatment, is that what we're talking about?
Either that or SAP on the street. He'd have to do one of the two, I would think.
Given that he has a business to tend to, I was hoping that SAP OLP is something that the probation and pro could get him enrolled in.
Mr. Garner, would you be handling this case?
Barron County.
Where do you reside at, Mr. Frogge?
I reside in Metcalf, and Charity Ford is would be a probation officer in
Yeah,
her.
Ms. Ford would be his probation officer that oversee him in Metcalf County, Your Honor.
Well, could you contact her to tell her what's happened here today on this case and see what sort of, how long it would take to get in the SAP program?
Yes, sir. I believe my SSC, I don't know if she would cover that county as well, but I will get a hold of my SSC and tell her what your recommendation is, and I'll pass that all on to Officer Ford.
Okay, well, somebody needs to inform Mr. Stockton and Mr. Shuffett where we are on this thing. And if they can get him in the program immediately, I'll go ahead and shock probate him after probably the following Monday. That will give us an opportunity. So, Mr. Shuffett, you have some incentive, or if you're going to handle the case, or someone else to try to help get probation and parole to identify that program and get it into us. And next Monday, I could sign the shock probation order then. Now, Mr. Frogge, it's obvious that you've got a drug problem. So you're going to, you're going to have to work on this. You're going to have to work on it.
Yes, sir. I've talked to Cherry.
Okay.
He's called.
But, the problem is you've had these, these tests and things. Yes. You're going to die. This stuff does stuff to you. It's not just the addiction problems and stuff. It hurts your organs. You know that. People around that took this stuff. Ruins their kidneys, ruins their liver.
I agree.
Do you have a family?
Yes, my wife's sick and I need to be home.
Okay, well, we'll see what we can get you set up with, and you don't let us down, okay?
Can I get home incarceration until Monday?
No, but Monday's not that far away, Yes, Mr. Garner.
What facility is he in? Is he in Dyer?
He's in Dyer County.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I just don't want to let you out till we get you lined up on treatment. A lot of people get out and they do a fling. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Frogge. Who else y'all have next?
It will be, I'm going to go ahead and get the Class D. They're on line. Jamie Clary.
Commonwealth versus James Otis Clary, 19 CR 0027. Are you James Otis Clary?
Yes, sir.
And you born in 1967?
Yes, sir.
Last four digits, social security number 6885. Is that right?
Yes.
It's a motion for shock probation. Mr. Shuffett, are you handling this?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Clary was terminated from drug court and revoked. He served 56 days since that revocation and 150 days overall. I think the Commonwealth would admit that Mr. Clary did make some progress, although he ultimately was terminated for good cause in drug court.
What was the good cause?
He got a DUI, and then I think there was a period where he was not found, although I'm not sure how long that was.
Yeah, that was the reason absconding and DUI was the problem.
Yeah.
Mr. Clary is confident that he has employment upon release.
You want to call him as a witness?
Save-A-Lot.
We'll call him as a witness.
Okay. Mr. Clary.
Raise your right hand, Mr. Clary. So our testimony about to give us truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Okay, you may lower your hand. Mr. Shuffett, you may inquire.
State your name.
James Otis Clary.
Okay. And where would you be residing if released, Mr. Clary?
Albany, Kentucky. I've got a trailer over there. I live in 16
Okay.
2nd Street.
What do you have in mind in terms of employment if you're released?
I'm gonna go back and try to get my job at Save-A-Lot there where I was working, but if not, my wife said that they would hire me at that sewing factory over there.
And
Patriots.
how are you going to get back and forth to Save-A-Lot?
I live with a rock thrower, but they're right behind it. I can walk to work.
And how long had you worked there previously?
A couple of months.
What did you do there?
I would work back there in the meat department.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like the court to know?
I just messed up. I mean, I would like to go back and start that program at Adonis. It seemed to help me more than anything I was doing, talking to Libby and the counselors and stuff over there. So I'd like to continue that.
The underlying charge, Mr. Sheffield.
What'd you say, Judge?
Possession of a forged instrument, 5-year sentence.
Was it check?
I believe it was. Get his file, Amber. Either a check or a counterfeit bill. I can't remember. Yeah, it was a check to Mercy, about $600 or $200. I can't remember how to get the file.
Who was the check to?
Is Mr. Sheffield finished? I had a few questions when he's
Well, I want this information here.
Okay, we've got the file here somewhere.
Yeah, Mr. Clary, answer anything that Commonwealth has for you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Stockton.
Well, we're having trouble locating her file. I had it out yesterday. Here it is.
Check on Stevens Manufacturing,
That's what it was.
$413.70.
Did you pay restitution on that check, Mr. Cleary?
I was thinking if I was paying on it.
Did you pay it off?
I don't know if I got it all paid off or not before I got arrested. I was paying on it.
Real quick. Yes, 19 CR 27. Now, where did you work anywhere else other than Save-A-Lot while you was in drug court?
I worked at Kegel's.
How long were you out there?
Before I went to jail that time and got out, and then I lost my job, of course, and I went to work at Save-A-Lot.
I know. About how many months were you at Kegel's?
Roughly 8, 9.
Okay, I thought you were out there a while. How long during drug court was the longest time you were sober? Didn't use drugs or alcohol?
6, 7 months, 8 something.
Okay. What happened to you this last time?
That COVID thing hit, and I was nervous and tore up about that, and I just messed up and drank some alcohol. Which
were you still working at Save-A-Lot when you got your DUI?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I used to see you was on the road. You used to have one of those bicycles with a motor on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now is that what they caught you on?
No, I was in a car.
You driving a car?
Yeah.
You was driving a car?
Yeah, it wasn't mine.
Okay, wasn't yours. Now, have you already talked to Mr. Dalton at Save-A-Lot and he's told you could have your job back, or are you just guessing?
Well, I talked to him when I got this DUI and told him, I was going to have to go to court and I was probably going to have to do some time. And he said if I didn't have to do a right smart time, my job would still be open. And my wife said that they'd have a sign in the window saying that they needed help in the meat department again. So by that, I'm just assuming I've got my job still there.
Kind of got a hopeful guess going that you can get your job.
Yes. But
Okay.
if not, like I said, my wife said that they'd hire me at Patriots.
At Patriots. Now, how would you get back and forth to Patriots if you got a job?
But like I said, I could walk there. I'm not 15 minutes from there. But I'd rather have my job at Save-A-Lot because it's a lot closer.
Okay. I've got no further questions, Your Honor. Did you find out? Jessica, did you find out about the restitution? Guess we lost her.
Yes, I'm checking on that.
Okay.
Well, what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to agree to shock probate you if you will provide proof that you have a job to the Commonwealth Attorney. And the best place would be at that Save-A-Lot where you can walk to it and also where you can get food. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not going to put you on an ankle bracelet. I would put you on a curfew that you go to no place but that trailer that you live in there with your girlfriend. You give the address to that and to the Save-A-Lot and to any treatment that you have to go to either psychological or drug treatment, to the doctor and to church. Those are the only places you to go. And if you deviate from that, what bothers me most is that you were driving a vehicle. And I don't know, you were impaired, and that puts the public at danger. So, I mean, if I catch you in a vehicle, it's going to be a bad thing. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? I don't want to do anything to anybody, but I also don't want you to hurt yourself or other people. So, Mr. Sheffitt, if you could help him obtain that statement, and if you get that statement from there or any other regular employer, I don't want somebody to say you're going to help me in the logwoods or this or that or all that kind of stuff. I know your family's got a long history of being in the logwoods, but I'd say now you don't want back in the logwoods. You're probably not as spry as you were at one time, are you?
No, I'm not. I can't do the logwoods.
So in any event, it'd have to be at a regular place of employment. You provide that proof to Mr. Stockton, and we'll forward it, and I'll shock him then, okay? With those conditions.
I'd ask as part of the shock order that he be evaluated with SSC. I think he needs some more treatment. And
no doubt about that. He needs to follow instruction, be interviewed, and follow the instructions of whoever the practitioner is that they recommend him to do. Okay. Thank you.
Did we ever find out about the restitution?
Yes. He still owes $167.50 in restitution, and then a total of $234.39, including court costs.
Okay, you'll need to be, when you get your job set up, you'll need to be making a total payment of $60 a month. 40 of that will go to restitution, and then after you get the restitution paid off, the entire 60 will go to court cost. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. You can pay that off, and you can go pay that off and avoid having to pay the clerk's fee. Isn't that right, Miss Milam? If he comes in lump sums.
No, he'll still have to pay. It's already been applied.
Okay, it's already been applied. Okay, thank you. Who else you have at the jail there ready to go?
I've got John Anderson.
John Anderson. Okay.
Okay.
Commonwealth versus John Anderson, 19 CR 0010. Are you John Anderson? John Anderson, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you need to speak up a little.
All right. Yes, sir.
You born in 1970?
Yes, sir.
Last four digits of your social security number 0527?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What do you have, Mr. Stockton? Motion to revoke pretrial diversion and post sentence?
We had a hearing last month, Your Honor, and since that time, basically the crux of the hearing was Mr. Anderson had absconded probation. Hadn't paid anything since November of 2019, and he was found at Nathan Riddle's residence. He's been in jail now, I guess, 35, 40 days. And somebody paid $350 on his child support, and he now owes $3,608.50.
What's your recommendation on the case?
Well, my understanding is I was to the point I was going to ask that he be revoked and just indict him in the future if he got behind again. But this, I think, is the total amount he owes. So there won't be any future child support. This is all arrearage. I'd ask that if he serve a sanction, he continue on supervised probation. And if he absconds or doesn't pay in the future, that he be revoked and serve his sentence.
Okay, what amount a month do you suggest that this gentleman should be able to pay?
It's court ordered at $350, but if he paid $200, $250 a month, he would get it knocked out in a relatively reasonable time.
Can you pay $250 a month for your freedom, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, sir. I can, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you out, and we're going to change it to $250. The first payment will be due 30 days from today.
Okay.
You know,
Appreciate it.
and if you don't pay that and don't pay it on a regular basis, you'll give me no choice but to do something to you. It gives me no pleasure to send anybody to jail.
I understand that.
Okay?
Your Honor, I'd ask this be set for review next month.
That's fine too.
Well, let's put it out. Let's give him a chance to pay two of them in a row. You see what I'm saying? We'll review it on February the 25th, and you should have made 2 monthly payments by then. Okay?
Fire.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Yeah, another revocation, you serve the same. Child support will be $250 a month. Do 30 days date each month thereafter.
Okay. Who do you have next to Dyer County Jail?
Ronald Lawson.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Ronald Lawson, 19 CR 0073. Are you Ronald Lawson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're here today for sentencing. Do we have the sexual offender report in this case?
No, we have not received it.
Okay. Well, we have to have that also. I've got the pretrial, the pre-sentence investigation report, but I don't have the sexual offender report. Mr. Garner, what do we know about when we can have a sexual offender report done?
Your Honor, I inquired about this quite extensively last night. I guess the person that was in charge of doing that, the court was supposed to notify them. They had retired, and we got contacts this morning from Frankfurt, Slayton, who the person that took over was. I'm not aware if the court has notified them or not.
Well, now, let me tell you how it's worked in the past. I don't think the court's been notifying anybody. I think probation and parole has been notifying people. That right, Ms. Thompson?
There's an order that's entered at the time the plea's entered that Mr. Stockton submits that requires that report to be completed. I'm assuming it was entered in this case.
Could y'all check the file?
I believe
Yes,
it's entered, wasn't it?
It was entered. Let's see. No, I'm sorry. I don't have a copy of it.
We not do it? Get the file at Ronald Lawson. I know we submitted it. Yes, I'm there. Not seeing it. What was the thing? I can't find a copy of it, Your Honor. I thought we sent it.
Well, why don't you just send another? Just send
We will. We're half staff, so I've just got one person here today, so I don't know.
Who you got there?
Amber's here.
Well,
Jennifer called this week.
she can do more than most people. Amber can,
You
surely.
can do at least 3 people's work, I would think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we'll send a copy of that. Send a copy over. We'll enter it today and we'll forward it and copy that to Mr. Garner. Okay, too. Sure he gets a copy of it. We'll send it to normal routes. Okay. We'll put this. I'm just going to go ahead and so this won't fall between the cracks, we'll set it for February the 25th. If we get it before January the 28th, we'll have a sentencing then, but we'll schedule it February 25th. So if we get the report back, Mr. Stockton, if you make sure we put it on the docket, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lawson. Who else do you have next?
It will be, Charles Dyer.
Charles Dyer. Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Charles D. Dyer, 19 CR 0082. Are you Charles Dyer?
Yes, sir.
You born in 1973?
Yes, sir.
Last four digits of social security number 5164.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, this is a motion for shock probation. Mr. Sheffield, are you handling this today?
Yes, I believe that there's been a assessment for drug court. I'm not sure the status of that. Mr. Stockton can enlighten us.
He was discussed this week. He was voted in. Mr. Murphy should be getting in touch with the judge's office and Mr. Dyer as to when he's to start anytime.
I have an email from Mr. Murphy that says if he's accepted into drug court, then we need to let him out of jail with the understanding to call him immediately. I have his number so that they can complete his orientation. I can give him the number or I can put it on his release order.
Yeah, I guess we just need a shock probation order, Your Honor, if Mr. Sheffield or somebody in his office wants to prepare that.
Is Mr. Murphy in today? Why don't you email Mr. Murphy back and see if he'd be available to take a call from this gentleman today?
He will. He emailed me today and gave me his number and said from him to Mr. Dyer to contact him as soon as he's released.
Today, okay.
Yes.
Well, you want me, Mr. Dyer, you want me to sign an order shock probating you?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's the correct answer. Okay, so I'm gonna shock probate you. Now, let me tell you something about this drug court. You know Glenn Murphy, I guess, don't you, Mr. Glenn Murphy? You know him.
Yes, sir.
He'll do you right, but you need to work with him.
Yes, sir.
And it looks like you're going to be out for Christmas to spend with your family and stuff, and it's a lot better place to be than the Dyer County Jail. Usually, I go to the Dyer County Jail, and they're kind to people on Christmas up there, but nobody wants to be in jail. And I doubt very seriously whether I'm going to be able to visit the prisoners this year because of the illness situation. So I'm gonna sign the thing. The number is going to be on it. Why don't you just tell him the number right now, Miss Megan, in case he gets it?
Okay, it's 270-459-1271.
Okay, and until you get your orientation done and everything, I want you to stay at home where you're living. Who you be living with?
I'll be living with my daughter.
Okay, well, you stay there and don't be out, as they used to say over in Monroe County, gomming around. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, see you. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay, at Dyer County Jail, who do you have next?
Judge, on that order, are y'all going to do one of your standard orders or do you want me to submit one?
Megan?
You usually submit one when we grant it. I usually only do the standard order when we deny it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try and get that to you this afternoon.
Okay. Who else do we have in the Dyer County Jail?
They're bringing all the females right now, so I'll let you know in just a second.
Okay, no problem. Mr. Shovit, have you heard from Ms. Costello? I hope everything's okay with her. I don't want to know what the problem is, but okay.
Carolina Hood.
Carolina Hood. Commonwealth Kentucky versus Carolina Hood, 19 CR 0054. Are you Carolina Hood?
Yes, sir.
Born in 1996.
Yes, sir.
Last four digits, your telephone number your social security number 6081.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a motion to revoke pretrial diversion. What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
Your Honor, she has a 3-year sentence on possession. It's a motion to revoke pretrial diversion. And the problem is Mr. Garner has attempted to transfer her probation to Tennessee, and she's been in custody in Tennessee at least 3 times and has never reported to him. I can call Mr. Garner as a witness if I need to.
I reported to Mr. Garner.
Wait. Miss Hood, you'll get a chance to talk in a few minutes if your attorney thinks it's in your best interest. So let's don't say anything that might be used against you. Okay, Mr. Garner, you want to raise your right hand? Swear a testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Sir.
State your name and with whom you're employed.
It's Officer Jeremy Garner with the Department of Corrections, Division of Probation and Parole.
Mr. Stockton.
Yeah, Mr. Garner, have you attempted to have Miss Hood's probation transferred to Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
How many times have you done that?
Give me just a second here. I'm pulling up more than one document here so I can validate.
Probation or pretrial diversion?
She's on pretrial diversion, Your Honor, but she's
Okay.
been supervised.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. At least 4 times, maybe 5.
That you've attempted to transfer her supervision to Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been successful?
No, sir.
And why not?
Well, I would send a transfer through the channels through interstate compact agreement with Tennessee, and she would provide me an address. And when the probation officer in Tennessee would go to review that location, she wouldn't be there, or she never lived there, or whatever the case may be, but she was unreachable. Well, then we would contact Ms. Hood again, and she would give me a different address, and we'd keep playing this game back and forth. In January, we had I asked for a review in which she would give us a valid address, and Your Honor said, "Hey, give probation parole an address," and she did, and swore that she was going to treatment. So I submitted, I believe it was the 5th, but at least the 4th transfer. And when the probation and parole in Tennessee contacted me, they said they'd never heard of her. They heard of her, but they haven't seen her but one time in their entire life. And it was at Walmart. And there was no treatment program.
Okay. Now, since January this year, has Miss Hood reported to you?
Since January, negative.
Okay, that's a no. You said negative, didn't you?
Oh, sorry, military talk.
Okay. I couldn't hardly hear you. And has she been incarcerated in Tennessee since January of this year?
Yes, I have to pull up a different document to give you those exact dates. Give me one second.
Okay.
Okay, I was notified last week that she had been incarcerated and transferred to Kentucky. So I did an investigation to determine if she had been legitimately incarcerated when I talked to her at the jail. When she came to, when I got notified that she was incarcerated in a Dyer County Regional Jail, I immediately went over to do a drug test. That's when I found out that she had been in custody long enough that if she was positive for anything, it'd been out of her system. So I And my investigation concluded that in Putnam County Jail, she was incarcerated from January 26 and released that same day on probation violation and fugitive from justice. Now, she is on probation in Tennessee, which makes it very difficult for me to understand why they can't accept her, but that's here nor there.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Garner. Was she any other times in Tennessee?
Fentress County, Tennessee Jail said that they had her from May 21st through June 12th, and that was for a probation violation. Overton County, Tennessee, from 8/15/20 through 12/11/20, she was arrested on reckless endangerment, evading arrest, and fugitive from justice. That is whenever they finally transferred her to Kentucky. And I want to make one last comment. The original fugitive from justice that happened on January 26th and released the same day, COVID prevented them from transferring her to Kentucky back in January. So they went ahead and released her.
Okay. I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Sheffitt, would you like to inquire?
No questions from Mr. Garner.
Okay, you have any other witnesses, Mr. Stockton?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Sheffitt, would you like to call a witness?
I'd like to call Miss Hood.
Ms. Hood, will you raise your right hand? Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Sheffitt?
State your name.
Carolina Hood.
Okay. And in January of this year, 2020, where were you residing?
I was in Jamestown at that time. I left and went to Knoxville at the end of February or beginning of February.
And do you remember being in court in January and in this court in Cumberland County and giving an address?
Yes.
And what address did you give, if you remember?
It was an apartment off North York Highway.
In what city or town?
Jamestown.
In Jamestown?
Yeah.
Okay. And was that accurate as of that time?
Yes.
And did you say you moved to Knoxville?
Yeah.
Okay. When did that happen?
The day after I went to court here, actually, my car got stolen and I hitchhiked to Knoxville to live with my sister.
Okay. Did you notify Mr. Warner or anybody in probation pro of that?
I didn't.
Okay. When was the last contact you had with Mr. Warner other than what you've had since you've been transferred back to Kentucky?
That day in court.
Okay. Where would you be living if the court released you and allowed you to continue on your diversion?
About 10 minutes from the jail here. I'm moving to Kentucky.
Well,
59 Torah Road, Breeding, Kentucky.
Okay. Breeding?
Yes, sir.
And who's in Breeding that you'd be living with?
His name is Paul Gowdy.
Okay. And is he someone who's been in trouble with the law that you know of?
He has no record.
Okay. And but that's your plan when released, is to go to live in Breeding?
Yes.
Okay. Answer anything that the Commonwealth has for you.
I don't have any questions.
You have any other witnesses, Mr. Sheffitt?
No, Your Honor.
You'd like to make a statement, Mr. Sheffitt?
Well, Your Honor, it appears that Ms. Hood has been in custody on this case since at least December the 11th. It's possible she was being held by this in Overton County for some period prior to being transferred. I would ask the court to consider an amount of jail time for a sanction and for her to be released and allow her to live in Breeding and hopefully get some consistency in her life and some see how she can do when she is truly supervised and hopefully hopefully develop some consistency in her life to where it sounds like she's been bouncing around from one place to the next and has had some unfortunate circumstances. And I'd just like to see her get a chance once she serves a sanction here with a stable home at what she can do with some consistency and stability in her life.
Mr. Stockton?
I think it's apparent, Your Honor, that Ms. Hood has violated her supervision in Kentucky. She's violated her probation in Tennessee. I wouldn't think anything she said at this point in time would be credible. The fact that she's given all these false addresses and never cooperated with Mr. Garner, I would ask that her diversion be revoked.
I'm going to revoke the pretrial diversion. We'll have a pre-sentence investigation report. She'll come back for sentencing on January 28th, and we'll make a decision then about what we do on this felony conviction. You absolutely have failed to comply in any way or cooperate, and it's not acceptable. I will take a look at what we're going to do then based upon your pre-sentence investigation report. Was this a possession plea? Is that all she pled?
3-year possession, Your Honor.
You'll have enough time by what time we get back in January to probably be parole eligible with this if some of this other time is good. So you'll talk to your attorney between then and now to see which route would be better for you. You understand what I mean? It might be better to go ahead and get sentenced and let the parole board do it. We might find some kind of thing. There's something, I don't want you to say anything, but there's something not right in your life, Ms. Hood. You're bouncing around, you got this drug use, you've been honest here. You didn't make any effort. I don't understand why you would make an effort to contact your probation parole officer unless there was some reason you didn't want to come in, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, well, we'll see you then on January 28th. Thank you. Who do you have next?
Jeanie Parham.
Last name is what?
Parham.
Parham, yeah. Commonwealth, Kentucky versus Jeanie Marlene Parham. (20 CR 0022) for a pretrial conference and 20 CR 0071 for a pretrial conference. What do we got here, Mr. Stockton?
It's Mr. Carter and I have been in negotiations. We either ought to have this case resolved next month or set a trial date.
Mr. Carter?
Your Honor, I don't dispute. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't dispute that. We have been trying to work out some kind of bond for my client, and
no, we're not talking
right
about,
now.
We're not talking about a bond right now. We're talking about disposition, and you can bring bond up in a minute, okay?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Go ahead. What do you have? How you think you'll be able to work something out by January the 28th?
It's my belief we would, Your Honor.
Okay, now you can address the bond situation. Mr. Stockton, do you anticipate the offer that you have on the table will involve some jail time?
Well, that depends, Your Honor. That's all I can say.
I understand. Okay, well, it's very dependent. And if y'all reach some kind of agreement between now and whenever, I'll agree to do whatever you agree upon. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Carter? I might very well change the bond condition.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So we could see you back. I'll schedule you for the 28th, and then your bond will be a matter of your negotiation with the Commonwealth. Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Carter, do you have anything else?
I believe that's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Dyer County Jail, who you have? Merry Christmas, Mr. Carter.
Merry Christmas to all of you all.
Yeah. Okay.
Susan Brown.
Brown. Okay. Commonwealth, Kentucky versus Susan Keene Brown, 20 CR 0026. You are Susan Keene Brown. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
1968.
Yes, sir.
What's the last four digits of your social security number?
8947.
Okay, you're here for a pretrial conference. What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
The last time I spoke with Miss Costello, she was supposed to be working on a long-term treatment plan for Miss Brown. And she was still working on it even before she decided she couldn't get to court. So I guess they're trying to find a placement for her.
That's correct, Judge. We're working on that. We've got our social worker working on it. I think we've made some progress, and I'm hoping to have something soon. She's also being held by the district court, and the district court has agreed to release her upon finding a placement.
Well, I would anticipate doing a global resolution information indictment if we do reach a resolution in this case.
Yeah. What's the charge in district court? What is the charge in district court?
Your Honor, I was filling in for Miss Costello yesterday, and off the top of my head, I don't know it.
Ms. Brown, do you know what the charge in district court is?
Yeah, with a DUI and a possession of meth, paraphernalia.
Yeah. Okay. Anytime we've got these deals where people are out roaming around in a car bother me a little bit. It's dangerous for them, and Ms. knows the tragedies that can come from that. She's experienced those. Her mother's experienced those in her family. How is your mother? Is she better?
She's doing some better.
Okay. Okay. I asked that because Miss Brown's mother lives in my community over there, so I'm not. And your mother's a wonderful woman, and I've actually had her in my prayers. So I'll just wait and see what y'all resolve on this thing. See if they got any treatment situation. Miss Brown's been in front of the court before, been through many treatments, that sort of thing, but I'll just wait and see if you can get some kind of agreement on it. There is a handgun charge here that bothers me somewhat, so y'all need to take that in consideration when you do your negotiation. I know you will, Mr. Stockton. Okay, thank y'all very much. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Who you have next at Dyer County Jail?
What's your name? Savannah Brandom.
Savannah Brandom. Commonwealth versus Savannah Brandom. 20 CR 006Z. Are you Savannah Brandom? Are you Savannah? Yeah. What's your year of birth, Miss Brandom?
6893.
Okay. The last four digits of your social security number.
6915.
Okay. You're here today on a pretrial conference.
Yes.
What do you have, Mr. Stockton?
Your Honor, Miss Costello and I have been discussing this case. Miss Branham has 3 pending possession charges, violation dates ranging from 2/21 of 20 through September of 20. One of them also has a 5-year felony on criminal possession. She also has a case that they've had a preliminary hearing on in district court on a burglary that I'm attempting to get the recording from, but the clerk's office is having some difficulty getting that to me for some reason. I don't know what's going on. And then also I'm trying to contact the victim in that burglary case. The officer didn't get a phone number for the victim, so I've had to write a letter to try to contact him. So I would ask that this be passed one more month to see if we can resolve it or if we need to get a trial date.
Okay, Ms. Malum, can you check into the whether or not there's a problem with the recording or not?
Yes, I'm working on that, Judge.
Okay. And what was the agency that was it, the sheriff's department?
I believe it was on the burglary, Your Honor.
So
and we're trying to locate
who was the alleged victim?
I believe it's a James Kelsey, if my memory.
Okay, Ms. Malum, do y'all have a phone number on? You know who this gentleman is?
No, Amber had called me earlier in the week and asked for a phone number, but we didn't have one either.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll put this off until January the 28th.
Your Honor, we would ask for the court to enter a drug court assessment order. That will help speed us along once Mr. Stockton gets the information he has That's
Okay, I guess we can do
That's fine with me, Your Honor.
drug court assessment situation. That way we can have Ms. Brandom looked at for the possibility of drug court, and we can do a universal resolution maybe on January 28th. So I won't be able to go to the Dyer County Jail, Ms. Brandom, so Merry Christmas to you. I usually come up there, but because of circumstances, I'm not going to be able to come this year. We'll see you then.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, who else do you have at the Dyer County Jail?
Amy Moore.
Moore?
Yes.
Commonwealth versus Amy Marie Moore, 20 CR 0073. Are you Amy Marie Moore?
Yes, sir.
Born in 1989?
Yes.
Last four digits of your social security number are what?
8565.
Okay, we're here on a pretrial conference. What do you have, Mr. Stockton?
Ms. Costello and I were negotiating Ms. Moore's case along with her co-defendant, Jesse Scott Allen, who's also on the docket today. I had made one final offer, 7.5 years, 10 months in jail for both in drug court at the completion of the split sentence, but I've not gotten a response.
How much time was there to serve on the split?
It would be 10 months. They had 10 grams of meth in the car, oxycodone, marijuana, and some substances that weren't tested. So that was my last offer. Either take that or go to trial.
Okay, well, we'll come back on January the 28th when Ms. Costello can be here, and we'll have talked to Ms. Moore by then. You're represented today by Mr. Shuffett as substitute counsel. Ms. Costello wasn't able to attend. Isn't that correct, Mr. Shuffett? This is her case, right?
Yes, and I think Sam relayed the offer to me, so I don't think Samantha had the opportunity to relay that to Miss Moore. I did, but I think she's wanting to speak to Miss Costello, who obviously knows the background of the case.
Okay, February 25th. Okay, Merry Christmas to you. Yeah. Okay, who's the next person you have?
It's Barney Sheperson, but it'll be just a second.
Turn this on.
Did we do anything on who?
He revoked her diversion. You don't have to do anything.
Commonwealth versus Barney Sheperson, 20 CR 0030. Are you Barney Sheperson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Born in 1988?
Yes, Your Honor.
What are the last four digits of your social security number?
2506.
Okay. We're here today for sentencing. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had an opportunity to look at the pre-sentence investigation report done by probation and parole?
Yes.
Is it substantially correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The reason why Mr. Sheperson should not be sentenced today, Counselor Shuffett?
Your Honor, I'm not familiar with the situation, and I personally have not seen the PSI. I think maybe he has at the jail. Ms. Thompson was saying there was some issue yesterday afternoon. I'm not sure if that's been cleared up or not.
We have been passing sentencing in this case until he's final sentenced in his Dyer County case. And CourtNet reflects that he's to be sentenced in that case tomorrow. So sentencing has still not occurred. We've been passing it since August because of that reason.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if he's probated or not in Dyer County. If he's not, then that's going to create a problem with this plea.
And unfortunately, I don't know the status of that Adair County case. Samantha would have, since she's the attorney on that as well.
Was anticipated, you're not going to, this agreement doesn't say, it says it should run concurrently. So you're saying if he gets probated up there, it'll mess the deal up.
No, if he does get probated, there'll be no problem because this is a probated sentence. But sentenced to prison time in Dyer County, then this case is going to be moot, I guess, because we can't probate him. I mean, there's no need giving him probation if he'd be better off to have something run at the same time or consecutive to get everything wrapped up if he has to go to prison in Dyer County.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Sheffield?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I don't know if Mr. Sheperson, do you have an understanding of what you expect to happen in Dyer County?
Yes, sir. It's like a 50-50 chance that they probate me tomorrow.
So it's a contested sentencing hearing, essentially. Okay.
So I'll enter an order that says there's a 50-50 chance of what I'm going to do too, I guess, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We've gone over the pre-sentence investigation report with him. He says there's no reason why he shouldn't be sentenced. I'm going to wait till I find out what they do in Dyer County. If they probate him up there, we'll go ahead and sign the sentencing order here. Probate him too. If you don't probate him up there, we'll put his we'll do a supplemental sentencing hearing on January 28th. Does that sound like it's okay? See what I mean, Mr. Stockton?
I agree, Your Honor. That's fine.
And that way you'll get the benefit, Mr. Sheperson, of the deal that you made here. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll enter. And whatever happens, Mr. Sheperson, I hope you turn things around a little bit. You have a Merry Christmas. Okay.
You too.
Okay.
And Brad, can you just make sure somebody lets me know what happened tomorrow?
I'll let Sam. I'll tell Sam to get in touch with you and let you know the result.
Okay.
Okay. Who's up next? Is that Danny Slayton?
Yes, sir.
Commonwealth versus Danny Slayton, 20 CR 00020. It says we're here for a suppression hearing. Is that right?
No, Your Honor. He's got 3 cases pending and 1 case that would need to go to the grand jury whenever we have one. And we're not going to be able to resolve any of his cases. So
Let me call the various cases here.
okay.
CR 0020, 20 CR 0021, 20 CR 0070. And okay, that looks like that's 3 of them. Is there another one? Oh, there's another one going to the grand.
There's an undercover drug transaction that's never been presented to the grand jury because we.
Okay. Okay, so we'll be here on the 28th, or do you want to just continue it generally?
Well, at some point in time, we're going to have to set a trial for 20 CR 70 because he's not going to enter any type of plea. So whenever the court wants to do that, that's
Well,
fine.
of course, we can't have trials now.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the grand jury will meet again. When are you going to request the grand jury to meet again?
I guess we'll probably meet again if the courts open back up in March. We'll start all the grand juries again.
Well, of course, we can meet like this with the grand jury.
Yeah, I've just gotten so much pushback because the officers don't want to do it by Zoom. I have so much difficulty getting jurors that have
Okay, I understand.
Communications in when it's confidential.
I understand. Okay. Okay. Now, Mr. Slayton, your mother called me this morning at 10 till 8. And I've told the court before my relationship with his mother, she helped when I was a baby and all through my mother's life and was good to us and everything. And I think the world of his mother. You don't need to keep her jacked up on this case. She believes that the reason you're in all this trouble is because everybody hates you and they're being mean to you and everything. That's because she's a loyal mother. she's loyal to you, but you don't need to keep her jacked up and call me.
But these 3 first ones I met.
Well, I'm just telling you, you might not be jacking her up, okay? But when you talk to her, you don't need to make her think I'm not doing anything to you or anybody else. I'm doing my job, So she doesn't need to be calling me. But about you, she can call me about anything else she wants to. I'm always glad to hear. Okay, we'll see you on. You want to put January 28th on him? Is that right?
February, I think it'd be fine if you want to do it then.
Well, let's just review it. Since he's going to on January 28th, we'll take a look at it and see if there could be a universal resolution. Okay, thank you. Who's next? What's your name?
Joseph Slayton.
Okay. Commonwealth versus Joseph Slayton, 20 CR 0055. Mr. Slayton, were you born in 1980?
Yes, sir.
What are the last 4 digits of your social security number?
2977.
Okay. You're here today on a pretrial conference. What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
Your Honor, we've had some negotiation in this case, but it's difficult to resolve this case because he has a pending trafficking case in Logan County, trafficking first degree 20 CR 198. He has a case here on theft by deception and PFO first, and I'm reluctant to probate him on that because I don't know if Logan County is going to send him to prison on the trafficking or not. So
have you talked to the prosecutor down there about the case?
I have not. I don't know if he's even been to court on it or they've done anything on the case.
Yeah, they made me an offer. I'll go back on the 7th.
When you going back?
When you go back to court?
On the 7th. They made me an offer. They made me an offer.
7th of January?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll bring you back up here on the 28th of January, and we'll have the benefit of what happens down there. Then maybe we'll get your case resolved then. Okay.
I get my bond changed to unsecured. I got everything lined up, and I'll do whatever.
Well, here's the thing. You'll need to talk to your attorney about that.
I talked to him yesterday. He never did say nothing about it.
Do what?
I talked to him yesterday. I ain't never heard of it.
I'd request to have
Is he?
If he is a bond.
Is he being held by Logan County?
No, I got bond over.
Okay.
It's pre-trial on here today.
Yeah, Judge, looks like he's a state inmate. Looks like he was revoked on August 13th in Barron County.
No, I made parole.
He's been paroled on that.
Yeah, I made parole, and I got a good job lined up, but I might lose it if I stay in here, to pay this stuff back. I'm gonna pay it back, but I need to get out and work to make the money to pay it back. I've been locked up since July.
Your Honor, he does have a family connection with a factory in Glasgow, Ecubano, that he's confident he could get on at. And this is a case that would, if resolved with probation, that would require him to pay back restitution of about $3,000, give or take.
$2,600, Your Honor.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is, wait. Okay. What I'm going to do is you get some kind of verified employment situation on him, and I'll consider, if that's the case, I'll consider an ankle bracelet on him.
Even though I made parole.
Wait, this is a different charge, my friend.
Okay, so
it's different charge. I'm talking about on this charge. What I'm trying to do is, if you've got a job and can go to work, trying to figure out a way to get you there. Because we don't know what they're going to do on that Logan County case either. You see what I'm saying? So, well, I don't want you to say anything else. Okay. I understand where you're at. Okay. I'm trying to.
Logan County, I know what they offer. I don't pay the offer.
Well, I don't know whether it's going to follow through. Something might change between now and then. I'm going to have you back in court on the 28th, but I'm trying to find some way to get you out before then, if you'll let me help you. Okay. And the conditions would be some verification of employment. And then between then and the 28th, I put you on an ankle bracelet so you can go to work and try to get your life straightened out. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
Judge, I can also, I believe he also has an active Barron County case as well.
Is that right, Mr. Sheffield?
Yeah, I agree to, on that. I just think been final sentence yet.
He has a pretrial conference scheduled for February 8th.
In Barron County?
Yes, it's on a possession, third or greater offense.
Well, let's just see. Let's see where we're at on the 28th, and maybe is Ms. Costello his regular attorney on this?
Yes.
Maybe she'll know more about the Barron County case too, and we'll put all of it together. So we'll just have to find out. Okay, thank you. Who's next?
Mitchell York.
Okay, Mitchell York. Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Mitchell J. York, 20 CR 0059. Mitchell York. What's your year of birth, Mr. York?
81.
Okay, and the last four digits of your social security number?
590.
Say that again.
0590.
0590. You're here on a pretrial conference. What do you have to say on this, Mr. Stockton?
Your Honor, Mr. York, I had some initial discussions with Ms. Costello, and would probably have to set the case for trial whenever we're allowed to do so. He has endangerment first, PFO first, and he has 2 felonies from Russell County since 16. One was an assault second, amended down to wanton endangerment first, and another one was an assault third. So I plan on trying Mr. York unless we can resolve it with prison time.
Have you made an offer?
I did. I've not gotten a counter offer.
Okay. Well, I think by January 28th, we'll be able to start setting some trials.
Okay.
They might still be a few months out, but we'll start setting them. So I'll continue this case to January the 28th. Thank you, sir. Okay, next up there.
Thomas McBay.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Thomas N. McBay, 20 CR 0057. Are you Thomas McBay?
Yes, sir.
You born in 1983?
Yes, sir.
Last 4 digits of your social security number is 7865. Is that correct?
No, it's 7685.
7. Okay, those numbers are 7685.
Yes, sir.
They were transposed, so everybody needs to check their records there. We're here today on a pretrial conference. What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
I think we have a felony plea, Your Honor. I've not had confirmation of that.
Mr. Sheffield?
That's correct. I thought I confirmed it this morning for you, Jesse.
You may have, and I forgot. I think you did. I apologize.
Do you have signed documents?
They should. They have been forwarded to the jail and hopefully signed by him and forwarded to the clerk's office at this point.
Yes, I have them here.
Okay. You want to fax them up here?
I can, yes.
As you've heard, sir, we just been informed that you wish to enter a guilty plea. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
Is this plea freely and voluntarily given?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you the same person named in indictment number 20 CR 0057?
Yes, sir.
Have you had plenty of time to review this matter with your attorney, and are you satisfied with her advice?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sheffield has also worked on the case with Ms. Costello. She can't be here today, but he's standing in. Do you have any objection to that?
No, sir.
Okay, you understand that you do not have to enter a guilty plea today. You have certain rights under the Kentucky and United States Constitution. Before I can allow you to enter a plea, I need to know that you understand those rights.
Sure.
You have the right not to testify against yourself. No one can make you say anything. You have a right to speedy trial by jury, the right to be represented by counsel at your jury trial, the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses called to testify against you, the right to produce evidence, the right to call witnesses in your favor, and the right to appeal this matter. to a higher court if you lose. You have the right to require the Commonwealth to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty of charges against you. You understand by entering a guilty plea that you give up those rights. So you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Stockton, this plea is a felony plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Will you give the recommendation, Mr. Stockton?
Yes, Your Honor. He was charged with possession of controlled substance, first degree, tampering with physical evidence, felony offender, first degree. The first degree persistent felony offender will be amended to persistent felony offender, second degree. He will have a sentence of 3 years on possession, 7.5 years on tampering with physical evidence enhanced by the PFO second. They shall run concurrently for a total of 7.5 years. He'll serve 150 days in jail, balanced, probated, supervised, receive credit for time served. He'll enter and complete a long-term rehab facility. The .22 caliber rifle shall be forfeited and disposed of. He'll pay court costs at discretion of the court, maintain gainful employment. All evidence in this case be destroyed.
Okay, now I may consider the Commonwealth's recommendation, but I may apply any range of sentence provided by law. I do not have to accept the recommendation. Prior to accepting the recommendation, I will await the pre-sentence investigation report from probation and parole. Now, am I correct that this gentleman is not a state prisoner?
That's correct.
Okay. In the event that I do not accept the Commonwealth's recommendation and decide to impose a harsher sentence, I will inform you of that. And you'll be able to withdraw this plea and stand a jury trial unless you agree to the more harsh punishment. Do you understand that after entering this plea, it adds additional felony convictions to your record, which could be used to enhance any further felonies in your life? You understand that? Okay. Has anybody forced, threatened, or coerced you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
You're entering this plea because you are guilty and for no other reason. Is that correct? Now, there wasn't a DUI or anything in this, was there?
No, Your Honor. Okay,
that was the last case, I guess. Is that your signature on the document that you have there, a copy of it? Okay. Did you do this knowingly and voluntarily because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll order the pre-sentence investigation report, come back on January 28th for your sentencing. How many days will he have in then, Mr. Garner? Do you know?
I won't know until I calculate his custody time.
Okay. Well, we'll see you on January 28th. Okay. Yeah. Who's next up there?
Gary Norris.
Commonwealth Kentucky versus Jared Norris. 20 CR 0069. Are you Jared Norris?
Yes, sir.
Born in 1986.
Yes, sir.
What are the last four digits of social security number? 8168. Is that right? What are the last four digits of social security number?
8168.
Okay, we're here on a pretrial conference. What do you got, Mr. Stockton? Your microphone's off, Mr. Stockton.
Ms. Costello informed me when we negotiate this case that she had to get conflict counsel, Your Honor.
Is there an order to get conflict counsel? Who are the other people charged?
Joseph Arms, Danny Slayton, and Miss Parham. It's the criminal syndicate case.
Okay. You know anything about that, Mr. Sheffett?
Yes, I think Ms. Costello thought there was some discussion about hiring a private counsel. Mr. Norris confirmed for me yesterday that was not going to be the case. So we're going to submit a conflict request. I did want to have his bond reviewed today. It appears to me that he was released in district court on these charges. Of course, he was not at that time charged with the criminal syndicate, but he was charged with the other underlying charges. And he was released on a surety bond, which he can still post on September. And then he was rearrested upon indictment here. And I will say for him that he He was not charged with anything in the meantime, nor when he was arrested. We've all seen that happen. Folks, when they get served with their indictment warrant, they end up with new charges. So I would ask the court to consider reinstating the surety bond that was in place in district court.
What kind of criminal record is pretrial on there?
Yeah, Judge.
What kind of criminal record does he have?
Well, besides this pending case, he's got a pending indictment in Metcalfe County. He got an unsecured bond on it. It's for possession of meth and possession second. He's set for arraignment on that on 1/12/21. And then let's see, got to go all the way back to 2013. There was assault second, amended to assault fourth. Then there's a flagrant. Then there's a non-support from 2013. Wanton and dangerous second from 2013. There's several cold checks, DUI. So
I'd also mention 05 in Cumberland Circuit Court. He had 3 years prison on a receiving stolen property case, and this is also a case of stolen property.
Well, I'm going to require an adversarial bond hearing on this before I do anything. Is that what, Mr. Stockton?
Yes, I don't know what, a surety bond is just not sufficient in this case, as much contacts he's had with the criminal justice system and the severity of the charges.
Okay, well, you can, Mr. Norris, I won't use this motion that your attorney made today to count against you. You're entitled to one motion by law, and I won't count this one because he didn't have an opportunity to call any witnesses. So they'll be in contact with you and talk to you about a hearing on that, okay? Thank you very much. We'll schedule this again for January the 28th. And we'll hopefully have conflict counsel here by then. Who else you have here?
Jonathan Riddle.
Jonathan Riddle. Okay. Commonwealth Kentucky versus Jonathan Riddle, 20-0027. Are you Jonathan Riddle? Born in 1990. Last 4 digits of your social security number is 7499. Is that correct? Okay, we're here on a pretrial conference. What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
Your Honor, I thought we had furnished Mr. Sims a witness statement in this case. He inquired about it. I don't know if it's the first of this week or the end of last week. I can't recall. And we got on it, and the officer hadn't provided it to us. So we got it, and we attempted to email it and download it, but he's not able to do it. So we've mailed out the statement. So he probably wants to see that before we discuss any resolution.
That's accurate, Your Honor. I do want to get that and make sure that our discovery is complete. And then if we can come to a resolution, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll have a motion for suppression and would ask the court for a trial date. My understanding is the court's not setting trial dates at this time. Is that correct?
Anticipate on January the 28th that we'll be able to take a look. It just depends on what happens between now and then. We've had a severe outbreak down here, as of other areas, but it seems to be more severe here. Mr. Stockton, I think you'll agree it's more severe here than it is some places.
It is, yeah.
A lot of interaction between Clinton and Cumberland County, and they both have high rates. So we'll, on the 28th, we'll either accept a plea or set a trial date certain, okay?
And that'll be our court date will be 9 a.m. on the 28th?
Yes, would be 9 a.m. And we usually do the court docket first. And if you've got something, you just need to bring it to our attention that you're on the line. We usually let the private attorneys appear first because the public defenders have to be here about the thing. So we'll try to accommodate your schedule, okay?
Appreciate it, Judge. Thank you, Judge. Y'all have a great day and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Okay. It's the next case.
Casey Allen.
What's your name, sir?
Jesse Allen.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Jesse Scott Allen, 20 CR 0072. Mr. Allen, were you born in 1983?
Sir.
last four digits of your social security number are 8406.
Sir.
We're here today on a pretrial conference. What do you have to say, Mr. Stockton?
This is the same situation. He was the co-defendant with Amy Moore, and I communicated to Ms. Costello the offer of 7.5 years, 10 months, drug court, or trial date.
Now, is there conflict counsel in this thing?
Not yet.
Judge, I don't think, unless something comes up in the future, I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think Ms. Costello is hoping to handle both clients.
Okay, so there's some serve time involved in this?
Yes, 10 months, John.
Okay, well, we'll come back here on January the 28th to see if we can get a resolution in this case. Of course, the only problem in these cases, I guess she hadn't been able to get the agreement over for him to sign, which means the county will be responsible for at least 2 more months.
I don't think there was an agreement yet. That was my final offer. We just hadn't.
Oh, okay. Well, she'll have an opportunity to talk to you then, Mr. Allen, to make sure if you're interested in that, if you want to sign a trial date. I'm not going to rush you or anything. This is an important decision that you'll have to make with your lawyer. You'll be back here on January the 28th, okay?
Your Honor, I did want to note, I did speak with him yesterday, and he did inform me that he can make a $25,000 property bond, or he believes one can be made on his behalf. My understanding is bond is currently 50,000 cash.
You can discuss that with the Commonwealth. You know, you'd want an adversarial bond here, and I take it.
I would, Your Honor. It's all these things get sprung on me in court when nobody ever files a motion for a bond hearing.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do
There's
that.
no way to operate.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm saying that we're going to consult with you. Okay, who's next up there?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Christmas Day.
I believe that's all we got here.
Yeah,
Where is Joseph Slayton? Where is Joseph Slayton?
we already took him up.
Okay, I missed him. And we got somebody in Barron County there, it looks like.
Timothy Jackson.
Okay, in Barron County, have your jailer to y'all need to call me. I've called Russell County and Clinton County, and they're not going to let me in the jails this year like always. And I understand that. You surely don't need anything else, but call me and see if there's anything I can do for your prisoners. And if y'all give me a call, I'll talk about it. And thanks for all cooperation. Merry Christmas. There you are.
Yeah. We've got a lot of things being brought from churches. But I let the inmates know that you can't.
You tell them they're in my prayers, and hopefully none of them will be there next year. But if they are, I'll be there. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
And Merry Christmas, y'all. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Barron County. What's Barron County Jail? What's your name, young man?
Timothy Jackson.
Okay.
That's my case, Your Honor.
This is a Monroe Circuit case.
I'm trying to find it here. I placed it up here. Timothy Jackson, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Timothy Jackson, 13 CR 0057 and 20 CR 0027. Is that correct? Okay. Are you Timothy Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Were you born in 1984?
Yes,
Born in
Yes, sir.
Okay, in the last four digits, Social Security 9460. Okay, now it was scheduled, it's a Monroe County Circuit Court case being heard here in Cumberland County. You were scheduled to be revoked, I guess, on these charges, and then a pretrial conference on one of them. What, Mr. Stockton, what do you have?
I believe we have a plea, which also includes information indictment that will resolve all issues, Your Honor.
Okay. Tell me what the information is. Do you have, go ahead.
It would be fleeing and evading first degree. These events occurred on August 20th, 2020. They would also be speeding, reckless driving, failure to give turn signal, wanton endangerment second, and possession of marijuana.
Now, has Mr. Timothy Jackson seen this plea agreement?
He has, Your Honor.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And Mr. Bell, you have no objection with proceeding on this information since the information been presented here in court is in the plea agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Jackson, a motion has been tendered that says you wish to enter a plea of guilty. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you currently under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No,
Are
sir.
you, okay. Is this plea free and voluntary?
Yes, sir.
Are you the same person named in these indictments and also in the information? Is that you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now have you had plenty of time to discuss this with your attorney, Mr. Bell, and do you believe you're fully informed about your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you satisfied with his advice?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you understand that you do not have to enter a guilty plea today. You have certain rights under the Kentucky and United States Constitution. Before I can accept your plea, I need to know that you understand those rights. You have the right not to testify against yourself. No one can make you say anything. You have a right to speedy trial by jury, the right to be represented by counsel at your jury trial, the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses called to testify against you, the right to produce evidence, the right to call witnesses in your favor, the right to appeal this matter to a higher court if you lose, the right to require the Commonwealth to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty of the charges against you. But in a guilty plea today, you have those rights. Now, is this a felony plea, Mr. Stockton?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, now when I may consider the Commonwealth's plea offer, but I do not have to. But I may apply any range of sentence provided by law. I do not have to accept the recommendation. Prior to accepting any recommendation, I will await the pre-sentence investigation report done by probation and parole. In the event that I do not accept the Commonwealth's recommendation and decide to impose a harsher sentence, I will reject the plea agreement, offer you the harsher punishment. If you don't want to accept that, I'll allow you to withdraw your plea and proceed to jury trial. Do you understand that? Okay, now listen very carefully to Mr. Stockton's offer. Mr. Stockton.
Your Honor, Mr. Jackson would plead guilty in 20 CR 27 to burglary third and theft by unlawful taking over $500. He would be sentenced of 1 year on each charge to run currently for 1 year. In the plea on the information indictment, fleeing and evading police first degree, he would receive a sentence of 2 years to serve. Those two sentences in 20 CR 27 and the information indictment would run consecutively for a total of 3 years to serve. The 3-year sentence in CR 27 and the information indictment are to run consecutively to Monroe Circuit Case 17 CR 79 and 13 CR 57. The defendant shall receive credit for time served. Moreover, the defendant shall stipulate his violation to his probation in case number 17 CR 79. He's to pay court costs at the discretion of the court. Any personal property in case number 20 CR 27 shall be returned to the respectful owners.
What's the court cost, Ms. Malum?
Judge, here it would be like 140, but I don't know in Monroe County if it's gonna be the same or not.
It won't be the same. I'll have to get court costs. I'm also working on trying to get a case number for the indictment or the information indictment too.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that needs to be included, if that's okay with you, that they can impose, put that in there when we get.
It'll be on the judgment at sentencing.
Yeah. Is that okay, Mr. Bell?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, is this what you agree, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now you realize by entering these pleas, these will go on your record, and if you get any felonies in the future, they'll be able to enhance your judgment and sentence, rather, because of the persistent felony offender laws. You understand that? Do you understand that? Okay. Does anybody threaten or coerce you to enter this plea, or are you entering this?
No, sir.
Because you are guilty. Okay. Now, knowing your rights is still your desire to end this plea and allow me to set the sentence. Is that your signature on the motion there? Okay. Okay. Well, I will find that it's knowingly and voluntarily. I'll say, when's the next court date over in Monroe County?
January the 14th.
Okay, well, we can do it then on January the 14th and be sentencing. Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Merry
Jamie,
Christmas. Merry
You too,
Christmas.
sir.
Yeah. And to you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
To you, Mr. Jackson.
Mr.
Okay,
Wilson.
is there any other matter to come before the Monroe or Cumberland Circuit Court?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, if not, this session concludes. Thank you very